What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Mods and Fixes. And now today we are going to replace the fuel pump on this 2016 Ram 1500. I already replaced it on my 2500, and I'm going to replace it on my dad's 1500. On his, the only issue he's having is that the gauge is not working, and that's usually due to the sending unit in the pump. So hopefully it fixes the issue. One thing that I kind of don't like about is when my dad bought the truck, he bought it from a younger guy, and that younger guy, he did some sketchy stuff to the truck. I don't know what he did, but he did some wiring, so the check engine light is always on. There's nothing wrong with the motor. I had it scanned. It doesn't come up as anything, but the check engine light is on. And there's some, I don't know what he did. I don't know what. But today our main focus is the fuel pump. I did it on mine, and I did it by tilting up the bed from one side. So I'm going to do the same thing to his. He has a short bed. I got a long bed. So it should be maybe around the same kind of weight because he has this little hard tonneau cover. So the first thing we are going to do today is we are going to remove the tail lights, the tailgate, and the bumper. We're going to remove all of that, and then we're going to get underneath, and we're going to remove, I believe on this one is either 4 or 6 bolts that's holding the bed down to the frame, and then we'll do those. So let me get my tools out, and I can start telling you guys what to do step by step on this fuel pump replacement. Hopefully my dad got the right one. I told him to go to the dealership because they can check out. If you give them your VIN number, if you go to the dealership, they'll tell you exactly what part is in your vehicle. But that is only like maybe 75% accurate, because I've been in there before, giving them my VIN number, telling them I needed a specific part, and they showed me the part, and it wasn't that part. So it's not always helpful, but hey, they at least got most of it in stock. All right, let's get started. Be right back with the first thing to take off. So for this job, we are going to use a pry bar, crowbar, whatever you want to call it, a hammer, a T20 Torx, Phillips and flathead screwdrivers, quarter, 3/8 and 1/2 inch ratchet, needle nose pliers, long if you have them, a 1/2 inch impact if you do have it. If not, no worries. A variety of extensions and adapters, and my bad, 932 socket, a 5/16 socket, a 9/16, a 5/8, 10 millimeter short and long socket, 15 millimeter short, and 18 millimeter short socket. That's what you're going to need to do the job. So for your tail light, you want to take your T20 Torx head, screwdriver, or whatever you have, sockets, and take off these two bolts or screws, whatever you want to call them. For the tail light, there's one right there. Sorry, I don't got light. Right there and right there. And make sure your tail light doesn't fall out. Last thing you want to do is pay a couple $100 for a new pair. And it just slides out. Then twist these out. So we're completely removing them. There we go. Now it's out. Now all I do is just shove them back in. Just shove the lights all the way in. Now would be a good time to replace the bulbs anyways. Even if they're not bad, whatever. It doesn't hurt to change them. So the next thing to do is to disconnect the camera, backup camera. So this is mounted in there in that hole. What you do is on this clip, press on the clip, and you pull out, and it comes straight out just like that. So now on this red clip, push it, push the red clip, and let's see. Pull it out. I might need both hands for this, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So after you take this off, then go ahead, remove your tailgate cables. What you do, very simple. Pull up on that tab, push up on the cable. I'm gonna need both hands. I forgot my tripod today, so sorry about that. But yeah, just pull up on this tab and push the whole thing up, and it'll pop out. I'll be right back after I get that out. Okay, so after taking off the tailgate, the tailgate does come out once you pull it out at an angle. You pull out one side of the tailgate and just roll it out this way, and it comes out completely. So it really only matters that on the right side, it's tilted at a certain angle. Pull it out, and then you pull, and then you push the tailgate to the side, and it comes out. Okay, so now next step is the bumper. So the bumper, first you would do is take off your trailer plug or whatever. I took this off first because, well, it was painted, but well, kind of. But these two metal clips right here, this is what holds it in place into that bumper, and you can get it from up above, from up here. What I did is I used a flathead screwdriver. I pinched one side down, and then with the one hand I held it in, and then on the other side with the screwdriver pinched it in, and it popped out. You need both hands for that. It's not hard, it's just you need both hands, really. Pinch them in, and it pops out towards you. And then this one was a bit of a pain as well. You need both hands. With one hand I was holding down this clip right here, just the one clip. Hold it down, what I did. And with the other hand, I put the screwdriver down here, pry it up, and it came off. It is stuck on there pretty well. So just be careful, don't break anything. And this is it. Then this is free. Just push that back in there. And then next is the bolts. Oh man, where'd I put my socket? Over here. Next is 4 9/16 bolts. What you want to do is remove these two here and the other two right there. You want to remove those 4 9/16 bolts, and the bumper will literally come right off. And then after you remove those 4, 2 on each side, the 9/16, after you remove them, there we go. I already broke them. Then you want to do is undo your license plate lights. Undo those, and you also want to undo your backup sensors. You want to undo those as well. Be careful, because you don't want to break them, because they are expensive. And yeah. Alright, well, I'm gonna have to use both hands so I don't break them. But you guys get what I'm saying. So you want to undo all your backup sensors if your vehicle has them. Your license plate lights, the plug we were just looking at for the trailer lights plug, the other side of the license plate light, and you also would want to undo this zip tie that's holding the cables. You want to undo that from the bumper, because These cables are just going to hang onto the truck. Just tuck them up over your spare wheel right here. Tuck them in there, and that is it for the bumper, and the bumper will literally come right out. These bumpers are very, very lightweight. You can carry it with one hand. So one thing I recommend is you can do this from under the truck or above the truck. Have that top bolt very loose, and then from up above you can just undo it by hand, and there you go. But it is very light. These bumpers are so light, they're lighter than my 1993 Dodge Dakota rear bumper. For that bumper you need both hands. So let me do those things real quick, and the bumper will be off. And then next is the bolts for the bed, and we'll be right back for those. One thing I did forget is make sure to remove these two 15mm bolts right here for the bumper to come off. And this is the last thing you need to do. These two 15mm bolts that are behind the license plate. So after you remove that, the bumper is free to go. I use these needle nose pliers, these long ones, to undo these plugs right here, so I wouldn't mess up the factory zip tie thing, whatever you want to call these. I know they sell more of these, but why, so that's what I did to pry those off. Let's see if I can do it with one hand, because I already removed all of them. Maybe not one hand. Let me just take the bumper off real quick, and then be right back to remove the bed bolts. Okay, so now it's time to unbolt the bed from the frame. So there's 6 bolts, 3 on each side of the frame. There's one in here that I already took off. They are all 18mm sockets. So you need 18mm socket to, of course, take it off. So one is through here, same on the other side. Your second one is in there, right there. And your third and last one, that's directly on the other side, is right there. So there's 2 behind the wheel and 1 in front of the wheel. So after you take those 6 off, the bed is just about ready to come off. But before we do that, we still need to undo the fuel neck from the body of the bed. So let me go do that real quick. Take off these 6 bolts, these 6 18mm bolts, and then we'll work on that fuel neck real quick. Be right back. Okay, so we got all 6 18mm bolts out. So now is to undo the little housing here for it not to come out with the bed. We don't want to damage anything because we're going to lift the bed up. So you take your same T20 Torx bit, take off these 3 screws right here with the same bit that you used to take off the tail lights. Wait, there we go. Well, so we take those 3 off. And then we are ready to move the bed out of the way. You may need somebody to help you out if you can't lift the bed up. So now the filler neck is loose and out of the way. Just to give you guys a heads up, it will it will kind of catch on itself as you're lifting up, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna lift the bed up like this, and I'm gonna use that piece of wood right there to hold the bed into place. It did perfect on my truck, so it'll do great on this one. Now, the other thing that we're gonna do right now, before I start tilting it, is I'm going to put it depends if you guys care about your truck or not. I'm going to put a protective blanket here, up along here. It'll lay on the bed. Just put it here just so it doesn't scratch up anything. And then I'm going to put 2 ratchet straps underneath the bed. It'll be attached to the bed, and the other end will be attached to the frame. Those will act as like a safety type of thing. I don't know how to explain it, but it'll keep the bed from falling. So I'm going to put 2 ratchet straps, one behind the wheel, one on the other side of the wheel, and it'll keep the bed there so I can angle it. So let me put the protective blanket over, let me put the ratchet straps, and I'll show you where I put them, and then I'll be ready to lift the bed by myself and put the wood in place so we can get to the fuel pump. And I get it, people think that this is maybe a lot worse, but think about it. If you're replacing a fuel pump on a newer vehicle, let's say 2008 and newer, or 2010 and newer, well, these beds are a lot lighter than anything below 2008, and you can do it on your own. Well, if you got an older truck, well, then you need 2 to 3 guys to do the job. But I know a lot of you are asking, why don't you just drop the fuel tank? Well, in a lot of cases, you can't drop the fuel tank because, one, you can kink a fuel return line or the main line. You can kink it up, whether it's plastic or aluminum, or you can accidentally, when you're dropping the tank, you can pull on those fuel lines, or you can pull on any of the cables running to the fuel pump, and you don't want to do that. I get it, because if you drop the fuel tank down, all you got to do is mess with anywhere between 2 to 4 bolts, and it drops. But this way it's easier on these newer trucks. It's easy, so I'm doing it this way, because so far since I've started to the point to I got right now, it's probably been about 45 minutes. So let me do the ratchet straps, throw the blanket over it, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I got the ratchet straps ready. See, I have it hooked to the bed right there. Right there. It's hooked to the bed. The ratchet strap goes underneath the vehicle all the way, and I wrap it to the other side of the frame. Ratchet down. Not too tight, but just very snug. And now this way, I'm going to go ahead, tilt it up, put the piece of wood to hold it in place so I can work on the pump. And that's it. The ratchet straps will keep it from falling that way. So I already got the bed pushed a little bit towards me, towards the back. And now I'm going to lift it. I'll be right back. Alright, so I got the bed up. As you can see, I got a piece of steel holding it up. This is just there just in case. I know I won't do nothing if the bed comes down, but whatever. It's just for me to feel safe in a way. Okay, so I got to here, and as you can see, the fuel pump is halfway under the cab of the truck. Now, I kind of forgot, wasn't really thinking, I guess you can say, seeing where the pump is under the truck. So this has turned into now a video on dropping the fuel tank. I've looked at it. There's not much I can do up here. But the only upside for me, because the bed is up on the short bed, is I can release this hose here. I already took off the clip. I can disconnect this wire, which I did already. It goes right there. I disconnected it. And the only thing left would be those two right there, the wire connector and the fuel line connector on the fuel pump. So I went back home, came back to my parents' house with my jack, and this is what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna drop the whole fuel tank. So I strapped a piece of wood to the underneath of the fuel tank. I'm gonna center my jack underneath the piece of wood. That way it doesn't push on the plastic tank. What I'm gonna do is put my jack in there, undo the bolt that's holding that strap right there, take it off completely. Then I'm gonna go ahead and pretty much loosen up that strap as much as I can before the nut comes off the stud, and I'm gonna leave it there. And once I'm there, I'm gonna go ahead and drop the fuel tank. It's gonna drop in at an angle, and as it drops in at an angle, it should give me enough clearance for me to get the fuel pump out at an angle without any issues. So I'm gonna go ahead and try that. Alright, so I'll be right back after I do that. Hopefully it's a success, but I'll be right back. Alright, so I got the ring off of the fuel pump already. To take this off, all you gotta do is have something flat and hit it with a hammer at an angle and twist it off. They do make tools for those, but I mean, how often are you gonna be doing that? So my idea did work, what I was saying, but instead I went ahead, just leveled the fuel tank down even further so I can take the fuel pump out. So I'm gonna attend to that right now. So after removing that ring, I disconnected that harness, disconnected that fuel line. Just so you guys are aware, you most likely will break it. That fuel line and a return fuel line that's hooked up to this part right here, they both have two clips. As you can see, I broke one from each hose, and this is the security clips right here. Those are the security clips, and these are the main clips right here. They're cheap. They sell them at AutoZone, so I'll be going to the store real quick when I'm ready to put everything back together, which will be here in a few minutes. So alright, well, try not to get debris into the fuel tank, because it will clog up your new fuel pump. So let me pull that out real quick and put the new one in, and I'll probably go to the store, get those new clips, and start putting everything back together. Easy. But yeah, I did also remove the plastic wheel well right here. It was in the way. So, and I also removed the brace that hooks up to the body here to here, right there, that V-shaped rod. I removed that with 10mm bolts, and then the straps for the fuel tank are 5/8, I believe. I think, or 3/8. I think 5/8. So let me swap that out real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I have the new fuel pump hooked up. I got the fuel line. I reconnected this the return line, reconnected that. I didn't clamp this down all the way yet, but let's go ahead and test before we go any further. I know this video started out to being maybe something simple and easy, to turn into something where we had to drop the tank. just keep in mind, I used 2 jacks to lower the tank, and I did it evenly. And I also, what I did, I put like a piece of metal. I put that cross member right there. I used a ratchet strap, and I hung it up right here so the tank wouldn't just drop if it was gonna drop. It was there to hold it into place for safety. So, and like I was saying, I used a piece of plywood in the center, same over there, to help drop it down. I went ahead and removed both fuel tank straps. I removed them both. And the good thing about on this truck, it's very easy to remove. I'll show you guys how to put those on here in a sec. But let's go ahead and test out if the sending unit for the fuel gauge is now working. Because my dad said every time you filled it up, it will not work. It will still read at empty. Let's put the key in. Yeah. Now the fuel gauge works. It always read empty. Let's make sure we hear the fuel pump ring. I did hear the fuel pump prime when I first put in the key, so that's good. I'm gonna do it again to hear the fuel pump. Yep, fuel pump is good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting everything back together. I don't think I need to show that part. Let's check for fuel leaks. No fuel leaks. Nothing. Alright. So that ring, the retainer that holds the fuel pump in, it's a bit of a pain to get at it in the spot that it's in. But I mean, it's very doable as long as you have something long and flat that you can put in these little slots right here. This little slot right here. There's a few all along the ring. Not these bigger slots, these smaller slots. You bang them in and then you bang them out. Easy as that, really. I wanted this video to be more informative, but it doesn't seem like it wasn't, because I had to come up with a different game plan to get that one out. So, oh man, I don't think I need to show you guys how everything goes back together, but I think you guys get the point. I will show you the straps, so I'll be right back. So for the fuel strap, you'll see that little slot right there. You'll see that like a T-like hole. We'll see the T, the top part, or the bottom part, I guess. That's where the hanger goes in, and then it comes down and hangs in the smaller slot. And it's very easy to put it in versus other vehicles. I mean, just slide it in and that's pretty much it. Let me see if I can do it with one hand. This video proved that I can't do it with one hand. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. Don't judge me if I can't. Let's see. Nope, I'm not gonna do it with one hand. But I mean, I hope you guys get it. You just slide it through and let it hang right there. So let me put this in and be right back. Alright. Okay, so now I got the bed down. I bolted the fuel tank neck back to the body of the bed. Took off my straps, and they really do work the way I did it. Hooking them up to the underneath of the bed and wrapping it, hooking it up to the other side of the frame. It worked perfectly, because when I was trying to put it down, it wouldn't let me put it down, because of the straps were holding it, and it's a good safety thing to do if you're doing this by yourself. So now for bolting down the bed, I already aligned this hole right here for the first bolt, and as you go, you need to align as you go, one bolt at a time. So start with one, tighten it. You don't have to tighten it up yet. Just put it in, get it started, align all of them up, and then go ahead and zip them up with your impact. I got a 1/2 inch impact, so it goes up quicker. So, all right, well, I don't think I need to show you guys anything anymore after this, because everything's pretty much simple. And yeah, but yeah, just giving you the tip about bolting the bed back on. So let me do all of this and we'll be right back. So that's it, everybody. I moved the truck out of the way, sitting back on the street. It went perfect. Good install. I used the Mopar parts. I always recommend, if you're working on a Mopar, just get Mopar parts. Yeah. If you guys like the video, then like, comment, and subscribe down below. If you did it, I don't blame you. I wasn't that showing that much because I was only a one-man guy. But peace.